Good afternoon, good people, and welcome to another match in the SGL online tournament. This is Saracen. Sonny currently out of pocket, but we'll see what happens there. We have a match between LuffyDV and Duskplume, and we're looking to have a good time with this one. Hope that you are looking forward to an excellent matchup as well. If you're not familiar with these flags yet, we start with a forced black belt, a forced non-black belt melee, so either a fighter or a thief, a forced nun, and then a forced random mage. So here we have our black belt thief red mage party to start off. Throughout the seed, there will be 3 NPC turn-ins that have a recruitable character. It will be a wizard of each type. So as you go through, you kind of look to see, hey, what magic can we pick up on the replacement characters? How do we want to order that? There's a lot of strategy to be had around those elements, and we'll see how our runners take that today. Today's matchup is the 4th seed in our round 2. So the winner of this match will be going up against Pickles and Beer in round 3. Pickles having taken the win over F. Coughlin. I believe that was Friday night or maybe Saturday daytime. So our runners are on a 10-minute delay. We've got about a minute 20 to go. From a standpoint of blursings, I didn't really see anything that stuck out to me. Just going to be honest. Apparently the white mage has a luck bonus that we found out through the blurs extractor, and the black mage, what the black mage have? +2 level 1 MP. So, kind of helpful, sort of. Depends on the spells, but at the same time, no, neither one of those is a huge bonus. The red mage, I think, had 20 hit percent, and the thief and the black belt, they're fine. They're thieves and black belts. So, we'll see what happens there. With this flag set, it is really designed around the black belt, which is something we haven't seen in recent tournaments. We've had a lot of tournaments where the black belt just isn't there. So this is a big switch up. I think it's a welcome switch up. Give us a little bit of variety, even if it is really kind of a 3-phase seed. Pickles, you scoping. Such spy. Can't even put on the camouflage and sneak in. You gotta just call it out. That's the confidence right there of the Pickles and Beer. So our delay is coming up here, and our runner should be off in just a moment. Alright. I see Duskplume going. Might be a little bit of delay on Luffy's side. We know all about Luffy's internet hamster. We see Fade is White Mage locked, Cure 4 Red Wizard learnable, but not Red Mage. And Fire 2, Lit 2, Stun and Slow in the Black Magic level 1. That is a very annoying set of magic for what we have here. Nothing too interesting in our armor shop. Nothing too interesting in our weapon shop. Looks like some of the consumables are a little expensive to start out, so we'll see how that goes. First encounter, pretty distant off of the hard reset. So that's going to make the selling point of the overworld grind a little bit diminished. Luffy going to check the top left Toph chest. Gets a pro ring and some gold. That's definitely worth keeping. And gonna go check the bottom left. Duskplume, meanwhile, going straight for our Garland fight. Luffy finds 4 gold in the bottom left chest, but, we're not resetting out anything here. Black shirt as our starting AoE caster item. So everybody gets a starting AoE caster item in these flags. Today we get a black shirt, which is very nice. We get a bottle from the king and the TNT from the princess. So our typical routing here, we're going to go check out Provoca, get whatever Bicky has for us, get our level 2 magic, and then we are going to probably head around to turn in that TNT. So house prices, worthwhile. Cabin prices, not so much. We'll see how that turns out. Duskplume taking the early lead on the walk out of here. Osloto calling out. Duskplume is the new member, one of the 2 new members of Bubble Soda Company. Duskplume having applied for the position of bottler. Alright, we got some pirates. We're going to have a second group of pirates real quick. What does the Pirate King have for us today? The Adamant. That is a very convenient double turn-in that we're going to have there. Harm 3, Heal 2, Wall, and Ruse. They're all okay spells. More so for when we have... Oh, there's a crystal for sale. And pretty cheap, but not cheap enough. Lit 3, Quad X, both good spells here. Pickles, you know, I don't know what the APV would be, but let me tell you that we use only natural processes here at Bubble Soda Company. So, you know, this is truly just based on the fermentation of the mermaid itself. Did Luffy just sell the black shirt to have enough cash to pick up the crystal? Heck yeah. That's an aggressive move. Duskplume just grabbing encounters out in the world. In the seldom explored western coast along Provoca here. The best flavor that Bubble Soda Company makes, truly, again, this is all natural products. We carbonate the mermaids and provide them directly to you. We're not in the business of artificial flavors, but let me tell you, that pure, refreshing mermaid taste is in every drop. The crystal turns into the slab, not immediately useful. A house and some gold out of that, that's decent. The houses were pretty cheap though, so not that big of a deal. Alright, there's Duskplume picking up that crystal as well. So she'll be able to turn that in on the way and also be disappointed by the slab. Luffy picking up Harm 2 to go along with the other level 1 magic, and I understand and appreciate that. You're looking at undead, you know, you might want to target them with that. It's non-elemental, so that can be kind of helpful. Our first peek into Dwarf, we're getting some iron armor and some money. No big deal there. There's a hooray from the Hooray Dwarf. Luffy, you monster. Refusing to save that poor dwarf from his one-word hell. That is a canoe from the TNT turn-in at Narek, which is a big find. That's going to give us full access to the Circle C. We shall see what our Adamant turns into. That's the canal, also very helpful once we get a ship, but not immediately helpful. And of note, we have done, let's see, 5 turn-ins so far, and we have not yet seen a single one of those recruitables yet. So it's time for the marsh. Duskplume following up on that ground already covered, heading into the dwarf cave to do both of those turn-ins. Getting the good news of transportation. Kumo making fun of me for not putting my phone on airplane mode. Completely understandable. That is very unprofessional of me. But in a more professional note, let me remind you that with every purchase of a 6-pack from Bubble Soda Company, we give you a complimentary hand koozie made from the mermaid's tail. Because here at Bubble Soda Company, we use the whole mermaid. Remember to drink responsibly. So both runners opting to go to the Marsh Attic first. We have a random incentive location within Marsh, so any of the chests, excluding the locked chests, can hold our incentive item here. Luffy opting to walk out what he's acquired so far. A lot of our runners will just reset out, but you know, with that 3,500 gold chest, that's reasonable cash to bring with you when you go back to Elfland. The Weird Sword, I believe, is equipable by the Thief as well, which is nice. Duskplume also opting to take everything out as well. That's good. And certainly the early money is helpful. The Arbones and the Crawl living through the Lit 3. That's something you never like to see. Alright, Duskplume following up on the basement pathway. We get a wizard stick. That is probably cash. Because we have our alternate fiends on, it's, I would say, not as common a knowledge what they're weak against or what they're resistant to. So it is a little trickier just to keep a wizard stick around for the confused, but it tends to sell for a lot of money. Big Womp Womp, we're going to find out that it is the last possible chest on Luffy's route for the incentive item, which is the Rod. That tells us that either the Circle of Sages in Crescent Lake or Ice Cave has our means out of the Inner Sea. Now, what's going to be very helpful is if we find Warp in Elfland, and we hopefully have enough levels to use it. That'd be, I believe, 6 or 10 on the Red Mage to have spell charges for that. But Luffy is taking a few fights on the way out, and we see Duskplume choosing to see how that Gershark is, and takes it out, which is a substantial amount of experience right now. And taking it again. This is a little risky business depending on how this thing rolled. Using the wizard stick on the Gershark actually was a pretty good plan. I kind of appreciate that. Level 12 on Duskplume's side. That looked like a whole bunch of garbage in Black Magic level 3 for Luffy. And and a bunch of garbage in level 3 white. Well, I guess invis. That's what Luffy's going back in there for. Our level 4 white. Harm 4, but not learnable by this red mage. And there's warp. I'm not a huge fan of buying the insta-kill spells in this flag set. I don't see them pan out very well, but, kudos for going for it. Luffy going to stock up on tense and heals. Get a little bit of traversal safety in that. Get that chain shirt +2 for the red mage. Very nice. And finally equip the pro ring. Pickles, I am 100% with you. The only way that I'm interested in them is if I think that you could get some interesting times in, getting your grind off the ground with certain specific grinds. Fred calling out for the Bake, which I'm assuming is Bane or Quake. We'll figure that out. But yes, for Alt Chaos, potentially useful. Cake, very useful against the Fun Dead pack, as it can hit the Phantoms pretty reliably, relatively speaking. Bane can be useful, I suppose. There is a Black Wizard hanging out in the Circle of Sages. Luffy thinking very hard about this. I think he didn't actually replace, which still throws the Black Wizard away. Oh, did replace. Okay. Well, there's fast, and there's no other spells whatsoever on this Black Wizard. So I have feelings about this, because Luffy does not have any offense anymore. I did not catch what the Circle of Sages held for us today. If it was the ship, then all is well in the world. Oh, it was the crown. That's a real problem. We have no way to kill Astos currently. As Luffy goes to repurchase all the things he skipped by. Duskplume also heading over to Crescent Lake, making the logical play here. So Luffy, to have the offense to kill Astos, it's either going to have to rely on this Ice 2 like nobody's business, or is going to have to make the walk to Canaria and Provoca. If Astos plays nice, maybe this will be okay. That was a reset when the 3 Ice 2s did not successfully kill the Astos, and I understand. Now, one thing that I am unsure of, and this is, I think, a very important question for the flag set, the boss HP scaling is super high, intentionally, and, it's really to highlight this black belt. Does Astos get the... Yes, Fred, he sold the black shirt. Does Astos have the boss HP scaling? If so, that Ice 2 will not cut it. So our shop item was for sale for about 5K in Provoca. Duskplume went and farmed the money, and Luffy sold the shirt in a very aggressive play. But if Astos gets that boss HP scaling, that is a substantial impact, as that scaling is set to 120 to 230%. If Astos is getting that scaling, that Ice 2 is just not enough. Just not going to happen. Kumo asking what they got for the crystal. The crystal turned into the slab. Duskplume not having any of the issues that Luffy had, and understandably so, did not remove the party member, and has opted to have the second mage, which is very helpful potentially. We'll see how that works out. Looks like Luffy had some adventures on his trip back to Canaria. Duskplume going to turn in that herb. And gets a ship for her troubles, which is great news. That's a substantial advantage here, as Duskplume already has the canal, the canoe, doesn't have to wander across the world to get spells and go back to do Astos, and can just sail up into Canaria and Provoca, pick up spells on that Black Wizard, and keep on trucking. Now, one downside, we have not seen our White Wizard yet, which would be able to pick up Fade in that level 1 slot 2. The standard enemy stats are 60 to 190, so technically within that range, Pickles. So Linkshot with the great call out, up to 179% scaling for Quad X to land. So it'd be a very high rolled regular enemy or a moderately rolled boss enemy for the HP stats. I'm going to ask the people who know in the Discord after the race here. So there's Luffy picking up the herb. Big question I have, and it's being answered right now. Duskplume is picking that thief back up off the ground. I question that decision, and that is just because it is so hard to get a thief to lie down sometimes. That once it happens, you kind of just want to leave it. Duskplume, first one out of the Circle C, is going to be able to translate that slab if she so chooses to do. And that looks like a red wizard if I ever saw one. She does opt to replace the red wizard, and there's that moment of, oh no, I have to buy the spells again. That's a pretty bad level 5. I don't know that I would bother. I did not see if Duskplume checked the white magic at 5th level. That's kind of a big deal. Alright, Luffy has repurchased spells on that Black Wizard and is also in the outbound direction. Duskplume making the strategic decision to not do ice because now Ordeals is on the table, and that is a very understandable position. Or, oh, going to go pick up spells. Also a very understandable and reasonable position. Because the warp is a very big deal. Luffy opting not to pick up the red wizard, choosing to stay just with that black wizard. I have feelings about that, but I am a very cautious player, and that is sometimes why I am slower than many people. But I'll tell you what, it's nice having multiple damage casters when you're rolling up on in for a fun dead pack or anything like that. We're getting some cake. Dengwu would be proud. Alright. Luffy has headed into Ordeals, is working his way through the maze. We've learned that it's the second pillar in the top left room. Duskplume is headed back in the direction of ice, so this is our first real divergence, not, artificially sweetened due to mage selection choices. Zombles doing Zomble things. That was a Brack. That was a sleep. That was a squint. The squint did not land. The black belt gets away. Well, we've solved Luffy's thief problem and found the wrong eye. Good night, black belt. I love the stinger in there, just, to rub the salt in the wound. Like, I could have killed you this round, but I wanted to give you the false hope that you could run away. Alright, Duskplume has entered ice, has a significant walk ahead of her. Luffy, I think that actually was the one you wanted. Oh, no, it wasn't. Alright. Luffy's smarter at this than me. That is an Agama tile in a not great place, but good enough. Luffy racing. Gets a fast bonk. That is a womp if I've ever seen it. And some giants on the way out. Duskplume has the knowledge of the Agama tile, and sometimes the knowledge of the Agama tile is, I don't want to use this Agama tile. So we'll see how she chooses. Oh, she does not want that Agama tile. Well, this is the best eye location that you could ever have. I love it. So we're going to just test the waters out here with some punch-in and see how long it takes for this eye to go down. Also, see if this eye has anything bad in the script. Now, that went down pretty quick to just melees, which is great news. Now, what we also want to do, we want to find our katana, which is just a money sword this seed. But we do want to find our incentive item, if possible, before starting the grind, just because that's an extra 10% experience for that item. That will speed everything up. Now, the good news for Luffy, there's a 0% chance that he misses this grind opportunity. He will find it. He has to find it. There's no way he can avoid it. So we're going to be on even footing here, except for Luffy's knowledge that Ordeals was a gigantic womp. Thief goes down on Duskplume's side. That's excellent news. That's the hardest part of the battle. And there is the incentive item. That is our ruby replacement with our egg. Can I offer you an egg in these trying times? And Duskplume begins the lava walk. Or the ice water walk? It's the damage walk. We're walking where nothing can attack us, and we can just kill everything off once it's down to 1 HP, and leave just our black belt alive to do the thing. So everything's coming up Millhouse as far as Duskplume is concerned. Ooh, Luffy getting the business end of an Agama there, in addition to everything else. And so we'll start the dive anew. The Eye not immediately taking out any of Duskplume's party members, but that's fine. Oh, there goes a red mage, or red wizard. It's fine. So I expect us to have a grand old time right here for a long time. Luffy is actually going to have to take a little bit more time to get the grind off the ground, as Duskplume, having taken those Gersharks a couple of times in Marsh Cave, a little bit ahead on the levels already. But Duskplume also fully set up for this grind. Is 2 levels away from the 6-hit breakpoint, which is fantastic. And Bubble Soda Company newest bottler just set up in a nice position for right now. This 5 mummy pack is very scary. And Luffy gets away. Gets the sushi instead of the egg. So we have, varying relatively healthy foods here. I'm a big fan of both of those options. I will say, hard-boiled egg, that is simply a vessel for guacamole to me. But I still appreciate the egg. It's a very versatile fruit of the chicken butt. Duskplume is fully online with this grind. Level 23, 1 punch in these eyes. It's time to go. We're going to make this happen. Luffy has to do the setup still, so a little bit behind, but not that much. $25 on Duskplume's side. Thief taking a knee. It's good news. Oh, just some guy 13 coming in. Deviled eggs where it's at. I am a huge fan of the deviled eggs, but I will eat them until they do horrible things to me. That is, the downside is they are too delicious. Duskplume up to 27. That's a fabulous bit of progress on her side. Luffy having to struggle with the biggest struggle. That struggle being, will the thief ever get hit? $29 on Duskplume's side. I would expect her to go all the way to 42 or very close to it. Just make sure that you've got the safety for the rest of this seed. Yeah, this eye just punched the Black Wizard for 4. I'm not confident. Oh, there was 9 damage. Not confident that we're going to be getting this fully off the ground until we walk a little bit more on those lava tiles. That's 16 across the board for Luffy. Meanwhile, Duskplume rolling into the 30s, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that was at least 32. There's 33, as we have 8 hits. We got the souffle pancake option. Very nice. I like them in the fried rice. Yeah, egg fried rice, very good. I am not too snobbish to just, scramble them up in a pan. Maybe add a little something like some salsa, some shashuka. Luffy up to 17 on the black belt. We're watching 12 damage coming on the black mage. It's not great. The eye does have a little over 240 hit points by the looks of it. So this is not super fast. This black wizard needs to go down real quick for Luffy. Okay, Marcus, that is a real breakfast right there. I say real breakfast, but you know, you can have eggs and potatoes and bacon crumbles and sausage and cheese at any time of day. It's an appropriate meal regardless. Eight hits, 1124 out of Duskplume's black belt there. 1298. This is level 41 black belt. This is going straight to 42, and then she's dipping on out of here. Probably one more fight after this. Is Luffy still setting things up? That black mage refuses to. The heel 2 helm! The true heel of this fight. You can spell that both ways. It is the same feeling. That is a villainous move from Luffy's inventory. I have to imagine that black mage is wearing something that Luffy just forgot about. But Duskplume is out of here. She has got the levels. She's got the key item. It is time to move. Luffy, meanwhile, hits 22, which is going to put that black belt in the position of probably one-tapping these things pretty quick. Maybe one or two more levels. The Duskplume now saves and is able to go after Sarda and the Titan for their incentive items, and it will lead to the floater. We know that for sure. Now, Duskplume may not know that, but she will find out soon enough. I imagine she's going to go for the double incentive over trying to go to Ordeals. Or just going to go straight to Volcano. Yeah, I follow that. I tend to hold off on going to Volcano until I got my airship, but, you know, it's fine. It is fine. This is a totally reasonable play. You're kind of in the vicinity. You have the tool you need, which is these hands. So we're going to see what our first of our alternate fiends is. If you're not familiar with the alternate fiends flag, it takes Kraken Carry, Lich, and Tiamat, sends them off to some other game. And we will see some other Final Fantasy villain in their places. Sometimes you get something like the Black Knight, which I believe is a reference to Final Fantasy II. Sometimes you get Beelzebub. Now, one thing that we sadly don't get is some of the awesome Final Fantasy III Japan enemies, like Hein. Yes, these hands are rated E for everyone, and there is no limit on that. We get Salamand. There was a purple dinosaur, and now he's going to retire to kids programming, from what I hear. So that is the first orb lit for either of our runners at the roughly 36-minute mark. We are on a 3-orb any flag set, so that is the first of 3 orbs. We will probably see Earth done as one of our orbs as well, as that is one that we have the item for. Duskplume immediately heading in the direction of the Titan's tunnel. Getting the business from the Geist and Ghouls. Luffy, meanwhile, has crossed the 32 threshold. At the very minimum, has his 8th hit. Level 38. Okay, so Luffy also almost done with this grind. This is a very fast grind. Duskplume running a little bit low on the housing. It's a bit unfortunate, but, you know, it's not that bad. We'll get that taken care of in the near future, too. A lot of the enemies here will just run away from a 42 black belt in the first slot because morale is a fabulous thing. The undead typically are going to, you know, do their thing. There's our floater in the Titan's Trove. Now, fastest play is going to be to fly away to victory and then pick up Sarda on the way back, which looks to be what Duskplume is going to do here. Duskplume does have a translated slab and the bottle, is going to be able to double tap those on the way out of the Ryukon Desert. All right, Luffy is done. Luffy is getting out of here. So at this point, we have a slight advantage to Duskplume. This is it's not insurmountable, but it is certainly an advantage to Duskplume right now. The biggest single factor is Luffy has the knowledge about ordeals. I don't know that Duskplume is going to want to check that necessarily anyway. Duskplume does not stock up on houses while she's here. That's a little surprising. We have infinite money and we have no houses. You have to be a real estate mogul. There's our ribbon from the ferry. That seems appropriate. All right, Luffy making the trip in. About to get that floater. There is the White Wizard available for pickup. Duskplume going to walk right on by that White Wizard. Not going to check any of these shops. We're just getting out of here. Moving. But that is the Oxyel. That's going to give us our second required dungeon option. And maybe Duskplume just runs right in there. That gives us an incentive to check the waterfall as well. Since we are going to come here for the Oxyel, we may as well check the waterfall while we're here. Just bring the mages back up so that we have warp. Duskplume hopefully recognizing that she is down to literally one house. She's not even bringing up the mages. We're just going. We're going! Now, advantage, menu time. Disadvantage, action time. We're going to see speed and power. I do not recall seeing fast, which means it's probably 7 or 8. So that bonk, probably the only access to fast. What I will also say, though, is in this flag set, I cannot recall the last time that I've cast fast. So, Pickles, that's spoilers for my race against Phoenix last night. Fast may have been at Crescent. If Fast was at Crescent, it's still kind of off the table for the most part, because you need something like level 16 on your Black Wizard to cast it. You know, it sounds like that's reasonable. So Pickles, the reason I don't cast it is that I hedge on the alt final bosses being group encounters because most of them are. And so I value my Fade, my Nuke, even Lit 3 sometimes. Like whatever damage spells I can throw out to clear out the pack. And then, 40-something Black Belt does its thing. The Fun Dead call out, indeed. Fun Dead, not so fun. Now, that had to have been a back out, right? Oh, that was replacing the Thief. Okay. All right, Luffy getting a Fade and Cure Forecaster. There's Invis 2, there's Exit at level 6. Realistically, that Fade and Cure 4 would be like the only spells I would pay attention to on that White Wizard. I love me some Fade in this flag set. So, Duskplume has lit the orb, has brought the Red Wizard back for the warp, I'm assuming. But only the Red Wizard, which is very interesting to me. And I'm all for it. Danger Pack runs away. Luffy about to go test the Sea Shrine as well. But that is a 2-orbed 0 advantage that Duskplume has right now. This is becoming a runaway game real quick. Now, the question is, does something become a coin flip? And honestly, the answer is no, it actually can't. We have in front of us a key, a loot, a cube, and a chime that Duskplume has unaccounted. The robot giving the key is a big deal. Because that's going to say, let's check Cardia, let's check Canaria Castle, let's get out of here. Because all we need now is a loot on her side. Taking the long way here. Now, Bahamut's Trove will have all the chests of the Cardia Isles. We only care about the one with the incentive item in, though. So it is technically faster to head over to the bottom right, the Forest Island. But that is our loot. Big news. So this is huge, as we are now going to head in the direction of an Earth Cave. Almost perfectly lined up. That's better than I can do for sure. We're just going to head in there, and we're going to punch a replacement Lich. I didn't even see what the Fiend was in the Sea Shrine, so we'll see what that is on Luffy's side. Too much action for one commentator, it turns out. We'll twist and turn in the Earth too. Ah, that is a Titan in the Sea Shrine. That seems like an odd place for an Earth-themed Fiend. But, sometimes they come in that flavor. That was 13 hits for 1919. Down goes a Titan, as the fast bonk from the White Wizard is Luffy's choice of weapon. So now it's time for Luffy to head to the waterfall, catch up on the content missed so far. But that is the first orb for Luffy, behind by an entire fire orb at this point, as well as the key item, Peace. Down goes a vampire. That's a 44 black belt. That's even better than a 42 black belt. Did you know that? It's math. Alright, Duskplume working through. Getting through Earth 4. The notoriously most annoying floor with 3 distinct paths, choosing the correct middle route, which saves you roughly 1 step. Luffy has found the key and is out of there. And is getting the business from the encounter table. We'll see how many resets it takes. There is Astaroth as our Fiend of Earth today. There was Astaroth as our green carpet today. We're getting a little bit of a color change. Going to the 70s era greens. Luffy has the key and is running to Canaria Castle. Is going to find either a chime or a cube. Duskplume, meanwhile, it's time for the final preparations. There is the chime for Luffy. Is there a reset? There's a warp. We're flying back. Now, neither of our runners checked Sarda, which is where Luffy is heading next, and he's going to get... No, he's going to head to Earth. Okay. I didn't see a Cardia check on his side, which means there's disappointment in his future. There was a Fiend refight, I guess. Oh, hey, there's the fast. Yeah, it was level 6. Thank you, chat, for calling it out correctly there. Alright, Dead Thief. Goodbye, Thief. That's a great character to receive the punch from Titan. Titan takes a second punch from the black belt and goes down. That brings the casters up to 18-ish on Duskplume's side. And we're going to find out who is replacing Chaos today. This is the Snake Pit, which is Tiamat 1, Tiamat 2, and a bunch of snacks. They all have the same palette. You don't get to know which one they are. You have to just blast through everything and hope that you get it all, which is really going to be funny. Alright, so we do get the Ice 2 out, and that's going to clear up all but one of the Gersnecks. Now, this is still a dangerous fight, because those Fiend 2s are, dangerous. The Fiend 1's still somewhat dangerous, but we're clearing house right quick here. Part of me sort of wants to see that Gersneck have, Stone Touch, just because it's mean, right? It would be funny in a mean way, but that is going to be a dead Snake Pit. And GG Duskplume taking it home with a 49-43. GG's to our winner today. We'll see. Duskplume wants to join us in the booth here. And by that I mean... Yoink! Hello, Duskplume. I've stolen you.
You have. I was having a wonderful conversation. Now I'm going to have another wonderful conversation.
And, we'll steal Luffy when he finishes his side of the seed. GG. Congratulations.
Yes,
to
thank you.
Congratulations to our new recruit in Bubble Soda Company showing off some skills here.
Yeah, that low seed of mine finishing last and second to last in the ace things, that's clearly just me sandbagging so that I can walk straight up. That's all the way through.
Yeah, I would say the qualifiers were not kind to you, and part of that is there's a whole series of learning experiences to be had in this flag set, and part of it is just it's a mean crew out there, and you're giving Luffy the business today is quite the showing.
Yeah, no, it felt it didn't feel so good early on, getting the crown from the old men and being like, instead of going to Ice Cave, which is right here, let me walk all the way back to Astos, because this is the smart play, right? No, it's not.
So, let me tell you, you and Luffy did the same thing on that front.
Yeah.
However, Luffy made one critical follow-up error, which was he had sold the black shirt in Provoca and replaced his red mage with the black wizard in Crescent Lake. So he had no magic until he walked into Elf and picked up Ice 2 and had 3 charges of it.
And that's what he tried to kill Astos with.
He gave it the old college try about 3 times, and then he's like, nah, I need to buy the rest of these spells.
Did he sell the black shirt to get the crystal?
He sure did.
Oh, man. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I knew that I needed that in case something terribly went wrong, and I just needed some form of AoE magic. So I just like, all right, let's go check to the east. Oh, the Grimps have crack. Let's go check to the west.
I missed the crack Grimps, but that's good information.
Yeah, only ran into the once. That's all I needed to run into.
Luffy, meanwhile, on stream here, going through Volcano to light the 3rd orb, but is, I think, using this as buffering time to realize that he has not gone to Cardia.
Yeah, that was another, that had to hurt when you're already up there. You just did Water Shrine, you just got the key from Waterfall, and Cardia's right there.
Yeah, sometimes the game is kind, sometimes the game is extremely rude, but that is all 3 orbs lit for Luffy. Matching your orb selection, as Luffy did the full clear experience and got the Chime in the Cube. But it has clicked, and he's headed to Cardia Forest to pick up the incentive. So let's talk about your grind. How'd you feel when you found the eye in the completely unmissable location?
Well, I found the Agama first, and I was like, okay, that's not bad. A little chunky. Let's at least see what's down below, because I'm going to work back up to get these chests anyways. Oh, there's the eye. Great. Fantastic. And right next to these lovely little ice shard pathway things that I can go ahead and kill off everybody with. Only thing is that the eye wasn't like quite that squishy. Took a little bit to get going, but once I did, smooth sailing.
Yeah, and from the standpoint of viewer experience, you got to the eye. Luffy was starting Ice Cave, got absolutely mauled by the Agama and one of the random encounters before. So it was a bit behind you, and then found the eye, and you basically finished your grind as Luffy finished getting his setup. So, and part of that was an ordeals trip that yielded a fast bonk, and there was a lot going on Luffy's side that you didn't get to experience in the best way possible. So,
I mean, that's kind of feels like a double-edged sword there, because it's like, great, I've got fast, I don't need to worry about getting it at level 6, but I made an ordeals trip for it.
Right, and don't worry, he still got it. Luffy now through the Titan refight with only the White Wizard and the Black Belt standing. Now, when you saw the White Wizard in Lefane, did you have any thoughts about picking it up?
Very briefly. I had a very brief thought that, maybe this is a good idea. Maybe life would be helpful. Maybe I can just go shopping at the Lefane shops and get all the magic that I need here. And then there was a resounding pummeling in my head of the Black Belt saying, hey, I'm 42. You don't need that.
My only thought on that front is that Fade and Cure 4 were level 1.
I mean, that's true.
Nothing else mattered to me. And we're seeing, Scarmilio had Brack in the pool, and Luffy doesn't care. Luffy's done. That is an official 55-47. Timers, they're a little bit weird sometimes, but we're going to steal Luffy on into this channel as well. Hi, Luffy!
Hi.
GG's.
You interrupted our conversation like I'm mid-sentence and suddenly I'm talking about I really
We're in a lovely little chat about what we did for our Sunday brunches, and just got pulled in to talk about, hey, how to feel punching everything.
Oh my god.
Hey, and if it makes you feel better, Luffy, I'm pretty sure the first thing that I said when I pulled Duskplume in was yoink.
Oh man, that was like I was telling Dusk in the chat, like, have you ever made every wrong decision possible and just kept doubling and doubling and tripling down? And that's exactly what I did the whole time.
So, yeah, let's go through the pain. So there was the sale of the black shirt. The sale of the black shirt. Understandable decision. A very aggressive play.
It's like, I never do that. Like, I don't ever do. And this time, like, I'm not going to lie. Dusk has my number. So I'm thinking to myself, I need to try to get, like, any edge possible and just, darn the black shirt. Let me just get this item. I can hear, like, fizzle in my ear. Just sell the shirt and buy the item. And it was pretty worthless, and I wish I didn't.
Truth. But then the true doubling down was the replacement of the red mage with the black wizard.
We were discussing that when you ripped her away from me, but like I've run 3-man in these flags pretty much exclusively. Something in like the undead pack had like squint or something and killed the majority of my party, and I saw the Agama, and the Agama decimated the black wizard, which is all I had left. I'm like, all right, cool. I know the Agama's there. Let me just like find the item and come back to the Agama. We'll see what it has. And then I drop down and find the eye, and like if I didn't feel behind then, like boy did I feel even more behind right there.
So I said to Duskplume, you were basically finishing up your setup as Duskplume finished her grind. And that was kind of the tail of the tape from there. But I want to say to both of you, this is still a good race. I think that it was a good showing from both of you, and flew for as aggressive as the tactics were, they could have played out. But man, oof.
Yeah, it's like I said, like I really respect Dusk as a runner, and she has my number, and I'm trying to think of any advantage I can get to try to surpass and not worry. And every decision was another 30 seconds here, another 50 seconds there, and then it puts you farther and farther behind. And it didn't work out. It's fine. I still had fun, and I wish her the best moving forward. And maybe I can work my way back through the losers bracket. I enjoy these flags, and we'll see what happens.
Speaking on what we're looking at as far as next matches for you two. So, Duskplume, you will be moving on to face Pickles and Beer, who took the victory over F. Coughlin earlier this weekend. And Luffy, you will be heading on down into the losers bracket. Do we have a spot for you yet? No, we don't yet.
Yay!
You are in Group 4, so you will be facing the victor of F. Coughlin versus the. Let's see. I gotta do math. The loser of Herbie B versus JLo 7. So you got a little bit of time before that shakes out, I think.
I actually works to my best. I'm going to be away for a couple days at the beginning of this week, so it's why it worked out that Dusk and I could go today. So it gives me a few days to get back home because I'm traveling out of town, and hopefully this weekend we can get something in.
Duskplume, how do you feel about this upcoming match against Pickles and Beer?
Another really good runner, another runner that I've seen a lot in my time here. We'll see how it goes. Feel like I'm really starting to get a hang of these flags at the right time. So I'm just hoping that if I do lose, that Luffy, you keep winning, so I face you again in the losers bracket.
You're too kind.
So just taking a look here. So if such a time comes that the two of you were to meet in the losers bracket, it would be all the way in round 6
Nice.
That is when the two sections of the loser's bracket converge. So
I guess the only benefit of the losers bracket is more racing.
right. And I said that to Phoenix last night and to everybody along the way is, my match against Phoenix, one of us is going to be going an extra round in the loser's bracket for our inevitable finals rematch. But truly, I'm stoked to see how the rest of this tournament pans out. And again, both of you, GG's. This is a fun race to commentate, fun race to watch. And I guess, shall we move on to final thoughts? We'll start with Duskplume.
Yeah, fun race. Felt really good. GG's Luffy, always fun racing you. Thank you for everybody in the booth, you Saracen, Sonny. Just always appreciate being able to come back to these tournaments. It's always fun. It's the first real randomizer that I got into. So it's just kind of nice to come back to my roots. Have an enjoyable time, and we'll see what the next match has in store for me.
Alrighty, and Luffy. Final thoughts.
Yeah, again, echoing what Dust said. Thank you, Saracen, Saka, Kumo, Sony, if he was in here. I don't know if he was or had to dip out. If you were here, thanks, buddy. Everybody for coming out and watching. Wildham, especially for putting these flags together. They're a lot of fun, and I've been having a lot of fun, and I was doing much better till I ran into my kryptonite again. But Dust is a good racer, so that I really was expecting things could go either way today, and it's exactly what I got. So I hope to see her again down the road. I enjoy playing these flags. Hopefully I can make my way back, and we'll see what happens. But good luck moving on, and to everybody else moving on in the tournament. Thanks, everybody, for everything today.
All right. Well, I do want to shout out Socket and Kumo for handling our back end. Socket doing the tracking, Kumo doing the restream. It has been an exciting day on that front as well. But we are coming up to the close here. I want to thank everybody for coming and watching this match, and I hope you check out our future matches as well. Just looking up, it looks like Herbie B versus JLo. That's going to be starting in about a minute, maybe 10. So that is going to be on Speed Gaming 4. Maybe we send a raid over there as they get everything set up. But with that, I've been Saracen. I hope you had fun watching this race tonight. And I hope that you have a fabulous rest of the holiday weekend if you celebrate Labor Day. And if not, good luck to you tomorrow. But with that, peace.